All right, all sorts of thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, statements of outrage came in after the Richard Wesley decommitment, and then Alai Kalani Uvalu as well. Let me know all of them. Put them in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter. It's a more reliable way. You can become a Locked On Ducks insider. You get priority mailbag access and other perks as well. This question came in. Now that Richard Wesley is gone, when do we have some serious concern for this recruiting class? With a Rider Lions miss after this isn't looking good. I agree. Right now, it is not looking good. Oregon's 24/7 composite ranking is 27th in the country. That is the lowest it has ever reached this late in the cycle that I can remember since Dan Lanning and the staff took over. To answer your question, though, when you get concerned, if Rider Lions and Ponatoski, the 4-star quarterback they offered, both wind up going elsewhere and there's no quarterback in the class, that'd be another sign that it's concerning. But from a date standpoint, when you look at the visit schedule that Oregon has, the commitment dates don't always immediately follow the last visits. I do, as I mentioned earlier, expect June to be a month where things start to heat up. So 27th in the country right now. I'm recording the show on May 27th. How about that? If by June 15th, also known as Nate Biddle Decision Day, talk about that more later on the show. If by June 15th, Oregon isn't back inside the top 20, then you can get concerned. And that probably results in like 2 players. You probably need 2 guys. It could be one. One could switch. If Wesley were to recommit to Oregon somehow by that time, which I've seen crazier things happen, the Ducks would jump back inside the top 20. So if Oregon has less than 2 players commit between now and June 15th, my ears will start to perk up. But like I said, I'm at like a 4.5 on the panic meter. That's not even over 50%. We're not even in panic mode. It's like, okay, I'm prepared to think about the possibility that this could be the lowest ranked recruiting class in Dan Lanning's tenure. But I'm not actually thinking that we're going to get there yet. There's still time. Give Dan Lanning and company a little bit of time there, perhaps. But June 15th, let's say middle of June. If by middle of June, it's still, hovering closer to 30, then we'll have another serious discussion. So, and if Rider Lions were to be a miss, 5-star quarterback, yeah, that would also be a step in that direction towards, okay, it's not great. Not great. Do they need Rider Lions from a position standpoint? Not necessarily. But from a recruiting standpoint, yeah, you'd like to find the momentum. You'd like to get a win there. So let me know all your thoughts and comments, questions about that stuff. Let's get back to Spencer's scale of agreement. I'm loving this segment. I'm loving the takes you guys are coming up with here. This one from, I think it's Philly Rothstein. I don't know. Moore, Poncho, and Sadiq all come back for the 2026 season, no matter their stats or draft position, unless Oregon wins the Natty in 2025. That'd be, I presume, Dante Moore at quarterback, Poncho, starting center, Kenyon Sadiq, number 1 tight end who could be a first-round pick. They all come back. You didn't put Mateo in there, so unless if Oregon wins the national championship in 2025, that'd be pretty awesome. Yeah, you will see guys capitalize on that momentum and go to the NFL draft. All 3 of those guys coming back, 6. I will put that at a 6. I'm really confident Dante Moore comes back. I'd be more confident Poncho's back for a 4th year than Sadiq, because I think his profile could really explode this year. But he just watched Terrence Ferguson, who could have left. Remember, T-Ferg could have gone to the NFL draft after his 3rd season, came back to help for a national title push. Of course, we know how that ended, but still, I think there is some value, and I hope this is the case for Jackson Shellstad as well, for Oregon basketball. When you are so closely tied to a player, Sadiq has always seen Terrence Ferguson in the room until now. He watched him come back. I bet T-Ferg would tell him, you should go back for a 4th season. I don't think Terrence Ferguson regrets it, just regrets how the season ended, of course. I hope that Shellstad looks at what Peyton Pritchard did and decides, I want to play for 4 years and make myself as NBA ready as possible by the time I go get drafted. So, you know what? I'm going to up that to a 7. I don't think Poncho's flying up NFL draft boards just yet. He could. He was a good center last year. He could take that step forward and be great like Jackson Powers Johnson. But yeah, I'm going to up that to a 7. I'm really confident Dante Moore comes back. Kind of confident Poncho returns. The least confident of those guys, the guys I have the least amount of confidence in to return to be Kenyon Sadiq, because he gets his first crack at being a starting tight end, and he's about to put his physical traits on full display. They don't make guys like him. They just don't. In the spring game, I think we saw dude looks ready. Dude looks ready to take that step. He's a stud. So yeah, I'll go with a 7. And I like the qualifier unless Oregon wins the Natty in 2025, because if they do, yes, if they do that, all 3 are probably gone. And you know what? I wouldn't care. Would not care in the slightest if Oregon were to break that particular glass ceiling for the program. So this question came in. I just got done watching a channel that was predicting the stats for all Big Ten quarterbacks. They predicted less than 2,600 yards passing for Dante Moore and a 20-8 touchdown to interception ratio. I laid into them because Anthony Brown put up better stats his senior year, and the idea that Dante Moore will be less productive playing under Will Stein just pissed me off. That's fandom at its finest right there. Fandom at its absolute finest. So, I talked about the stat prediction for Dante Moore recently on the show. 3,000 yards. I think he gets there this year, because Oregon will play at least 13 games, maybe 14 if they make the Big Ten championship game again, which is possible with their schedule. I'm not expecting it. It's possible, though, because their schedule works out in an incredibly favorable fashion. The thing that would concern me the most if this prediction were to come true is the 20-8 touchdown interception ratio. I would like to see Dante Moore throw no more than 6 interceptions this year, and I will sing his Heisman praises from here to the high heavens, metaphorically. I cannot sing a single note. I don't. I talk. I can sit here. You guys know this at this point. I talk. I can do that. Singing? No. That thinking that I could sing just because I could talk would be like thinking Clark from the Benchwarmers can pitch. He has to have some kind of arm just because he threw newspapers on his routes all the time. It's just not a thing. Anyway, bringing us back to the discussion. Less than 2,600 yards, only if he gets hurt, quite frankly. The numbers for the last 2 seasons of this offense at Oregon, I think were too good. I love that he was able to sit out a year and watch Dylan Gabriel run it, and he saw from afar, of course, he saw what Bo Nix was able to do. He's a really confident kid. He knows and has spoken, very publicly about, the difficulties he had at UCLA and how he's got to learn from. I think he's fully aware. I don't think he's, coming in with a Shedeur Sanders sort of mindset there. And yeah, I'd be surprised if he has under 2,600. Now that's where Mariota was his first year. That team ran the ball a lot more. I don't think Will Stein is suddenly going to become so run-centric. I did say recently, and I stand by, this is the most likely season for Oregon to have 2,000-yard rushers than any other in the Dan Lanning era, because this will be the least mobile quarterback they've had. So other running backs might get the ball a bit more. And if Noah Whittington stays healthy for a year, it's his 4th year with the Ducks, 5th year of college football, 5th or 6th. I could see him going for 1,000 yards if the running game really pops off. That's dependent upon the offensive line, of course. But yeah, 20 touchdowns. That might be the most objectionable part of all of this. Dante Moore could throw interceptions this year. Wouldn't surprise me. 2,600 yards would be less than I expected, but again, wouldn't totally shock me. If he only throws 20 touchdowns, maybe Oregon's run game would just be that good. But yeah, I'm with you there. So on Spencer's scale of agreement, for how angry I'd get watching that take, 8.5. That's a solid 8.5 right there.